very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to Primetime News coming to you live from Studio R. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's take a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
Court grants permission to the CID for the arrest of Rajyasena. Former Minister PATALI CHAMPIKA RANAWAKA released on bail. Security beefed up at the Colombo Magistrate Court premises. Additional Solicitor General raises questions in court. Ruling party questions the impartiality of the Speaker.
We are coming to you live and direct from Studio R in Braybrook Place, Colombo on the eve of Christmas, while my co-anchor David Paldano joins us live from the Newsfirst Christmas zone located at Echelon Square. David, do tell us about the preparations for Christmas at Echelon Square.
Yes, Arundhati, now with 3 more hours left till Christmas, our Christmas zone here at the Echelon Square is still up and running. However, it must be noted that today is in fact the last day where we will air our live bulletins, that is our prime bulletins and the bulletins from our radio channels, that is Yes 101 and Legends 966. So if you have not enjoyed what we have set up here today, bring your families and come on over to enjoy our Christmas zone that we have set up here. It's back to you, Arundhati.
Thank you, David. Starting off with local news, Colombo Magistrate Court issued a warrant to arrest former Minister Dr. Rajyasena Ratna. Colombo Additional Magistrate Bandara Nelumdenia issued the order after considering the facts presented by the Attorney General's Department and the Criminal Investigation Division. The CID requested the courts to issue a warrant based on the order given by the Attorney General's Department this evening. The former minister was charged for convening a media briefing on the 10th of November on white vans and spread false rumours. The alleged drivers of these white vans brought to the media briefing have been remanded until the 27th of this month. Meanwhile, former Minister PATALI CHAMPIKA RANAWAKA was released on bail today. The former minister was released after he was produced before Colombo Additional Magistrate Kanchana Niranjana.
Former Minister PATALI CHAMPIKA RANAWAKA was brought to courts today in a prison van amidst special security. The bail application filed by former Minister PATALI CHAMPIKA RANAWAKA on the 19th was taken up at the Colombo Magistrate Court today. The Additional Magistrate Kanchana Niranjana de Silva, who considered the contents of the complaint, stated there is no clear reason to grant bail as per the basic provisions of the Bail Act. However, Deputy Solicitor General Dileepa Piris, representing the plaintiff, said the factors must be further considered. He cited that the facts pertaining to the use of a ministry vehicle by the Minister of Power and Energy and returning it 10 months after the incident must be considered. However, the additional magistrate said that those reasons were not sufficient to grant bail. Attorneys representing the defendant pointed out that such a vehicle could be used when one minister works in 2 ministries. The Deputy Solicitor General said the investigations in this regard must be carried out under the Public Property Act. The additional magistrate then questioned if the Attorney General has directed to do so. Responding to the additional magistrate, the Deputy Solicitor General said the instructions are yet to be given. Considering facts presented by both parties, the additional magistrate ordered to release the former minister on a cash bail of 25,000 rupees and 2 sureties of 500,000 rupees each. The court further ordered him to appear at the Colombo Crimes Division every last Saturday of the month. Former Minister PATALI CHAMPIKA RANAWAKA was also advised not to interfere with the prosecution's witnesses. Meanwhile, Dilum Thusita, the alleged driver of the vehicle at the time of the incident, was presented before courts today. The magistrate ordered him to be remanded until the 6th of January. The additional magistrate considered the request made by him to record a statement and ordered to do so on the 26th of this month. The court also allowed Pradeep Alves to provide a statement based on requests made.
Former Minister PATALI CHAMPIKA RANAWAKA was welcomed by the masses opposite the court complex amidst religious observances. A large group including MP Sajith Premadasa and several other parliamentarians were among those present. I am thankful that we were able to establish an independent police and judiciary. However, certain factions try to violate the system. We are thankful for protecting the independence of the judiciary. We will continue our struggle to take this forward and further strengthen the democracy. Handcuffs and prison bars will not stop us. This is one of the most simple cases in the country. We might as well ask a traffic police officer about this. Generally, when someone hits another vehicle, they will be granted bail the first instance. This is the normal process. But this is political vengeance. They are seeking revenge from MP Champika over an incident that took place 4 years ago. But today, justice was served by the judiciary. What the public wants at present is not political vengeance, but for the government to serve the people. The fact that political vengeance still continues, even when the country has the opportunity to refrain from it and establish justice, is disappointing. We are prepared to face every problem as a strong opposition abiding the law.
නීතියට ගරු කරමින් බලය උපයෝගී කරගෙන කරගන්නා වූ සියලුම බලපෑම් වලට අපි එඩිතරව ශක්ති සම්පන්නව මුහුණ දෙන්නට ලෑස්තියි.
This was the response MP Sajith Premadasa received by a woman opposite the court premises.
Sajith Puta, when I want to see you, Sajith Puta, Sajith, I want to see you, Sajith Puta, I'm sorry, I know you got a long time. How can I help you? I am living in Lanka.
So I will take your details.
I'm working with you, telephone every day.
Honorable Member of Parliament will send it to you.
I am living in Lanka.
We will try to help you. No, I will always help you. I will help you, don't worry.
After former Minister PATALI CHAMPIKA RANAWAKA left the court premises, several civil and political activists expressed their views. In my view, the government obtained the mandate to solve a case linked to a motor accident. When the ruling party was in the opposition, they spoke about the central bank bond scam and the April 21st attacks all the time. But today, this motor accident seems to be the national issue. They are looking into a case that was already examined and closed.
නීති කටයුතු අවසන් කරපු නඩුවක් සම්බන්ධයෙන් කටයුතු කරන එක. චම්පික මැතිතුමාගේ මෝටර රථයේ පිටුපසින් ඇවිල්ලා තමයි.
The young man had knocked the back of MP Champika Ranawaka's vehicle. The insurance company has already settled the damages of MP Ranawaka's vehicle as well. This case has been filed under the Public Property Act, claiming MP Ranawaka had created a loss for the government. Even though the Attorney General had given permission to continue the investigations, he had not permitted to present charges under the Public Property Act. It was only later the police added it. This was done to harass and remand MP Ranawaka.
ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න අවසර දීලා තිබුණේ නැහැ. පස්සේ අතින් තමයි පොලිසිය පොදු දේපළවලට දැම්මේ. ඒ කියන්නේ චම්පික ඇමතුමාව රක්ෂණ භාරයේ තියන්න හිරිහැර කරන්න පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ තියෙන മന്ത്രിවරු.
He was forcefully arrested, violating parliamentary procedure without informing the Speaker or the Deputy Speaker. We will inform the International Human Rights Organization. We are currently in the process of informing the Commonwealth as well. The Speaker is already acting on this.
Former Minister PATALI CHAMPIKA RANAWAKA, who was released on bail, visited the Jayasekara Ramaya in Rajagiriya and engaged in religious activities. The former minister also expressed his gratitude towards his supporters that had gathered at the premises.
Several ministers from the ruling party expressed their views on granting bail for PATALI CHAMPIKA RANAWAKA.
PATALI Mantritumawa.
We did not arrest PATALI CHAMPIKA RANAWAKA based only on the accident. Careless driving, fleeing the scene after the accident, and above all, not letting the police officers carry out their duties, sabotaging evidence and threatening witnesses are offences for which bail cannot be granted. However, that is the law I know. Speaker is the chairman of the Legislative Council, which appoints the Judicial Service Commission. When the former minister was arrested by a court that is under the Legislative Council appointed by them, they sent an MP to hold a Bodhi Puja wishing for his release. What is this? They are only proving the fact that the council appointed by them is not independent. They disgrace themselves.
Basil
Rajapaksa gave the order to arrest at 11 p.m. Then there were no instructions given by the Attorney General. Permission of the Speaker was not obtained. None of that happened at the time. But it is only now that the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker has realized that the Speaker should be informed if a member of the Parliament is being arrested. It would have been better if the arrest was made during the daytime instead of it being done in the night. These are not the matters that a Speaker should say. These are matters pertaining to the law. The authorities who implement the law should be permitted to do so. The impartiality of the Speaker has been questioned by various factions in various instances. One such instance was the decision taken to hold a vote on voice to pass the no confidence motion following the constitutional coup on the 26th of October last year. Another such instance was inviting foreign diplomats to enter parliamentary premises and allowing them to inspect its meetings. In all these instances, the people find it baffling as to whether these acts were done keeping true to his conscience and safeguarding the honor of the law, or to attain benefits, acting according to his own whims and fancies.
Meanwhile, attorneys presented facts to Additional Magistrate Kanchana Niranjana about tight security that was assigned at the time former Minister PATALI CHAMPIKA RANAWAKA was produced before courts today.
High Court එකේ නඩුවකට පිටපතක් ගන්න ඔයා කියලා එන්න. ඔයා කියන්නකො පොලිසියට. ඒ නඩුව හින්දා මේ අනිත් නඩුව වැඩ කරන්නේ නැද්ද? ඒක ස්පෙෂල් ඕඩර් එකක් අරගෙන තියෙනවා නේද? ආම්දුරුවන්ගේ කාට දාන්න එන්නේ නැහැ නේ. යන්න බෑනේ ඉතින්. ගැවුවොත් ඉතින් ඇතුළේදී අරස් කරනවා. ඔයාලා යන්න ඇතුළට. ඔයාට මේ උසාවියට ඇවිල්ලා ඒක හරි අසාධාරණ. ආම්දුරුවන්ට දෙන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ කියන්නේ. නෑ නෑ නීතියක් නැහැ නේම. එහෙම ඕඩර් එකක් නැහැ නේ කොහෙවත්. ඔව්. කාගේවත් ඕඩර් එකක් නැහැ. පොලිස් කාන්තාවත් එක්ක ඉස්සරහට දාලා මේ කාන්තාව උනාම තල්ලු කරගෙන දෙන්න.
The group of Buddhist monks then entered the court complex without the permission of the police. Lawyers presenting facts to the additional magistrate pointed out, security assigned at the court complex today was unlike ever before. Responding to this, Deputy Solicitor General Dilip Apiri said those who visit the court complex for legal matters must be given the opportunity freely to enter the premises. Additional Magistrate Kanchana Niranjana said she will look into this matter.
Now taking a look at your weather update from Echelon Zone here, the Department of Meteorology states that the prevailing rains are expected to reduce from tomorrow. However, the lives of the people affected by the heavy showers is yet to return to normalcy.
This was the manner in which a house in Singhapura, Halyala, was caught in a landslide 4 days ago. The entry road to the village is still blocked as a result of this. The Hurulavawa and Galembindruvawa that has not received adequate water for years was seen overflowing yesterday. The Hurulavawa that has 16 sluice gates is currently discharging 631 cubic feet of water per second. Meanwhile, the sluice gates of the Kalavawa that were opened a few days ago was closed at 4 a.m. today. Our correspondent said that many branch tanks of the Kalavawa have reached spill level. The lives of the residents of Puttalam has not returned to normalcy as yet.
What you see behind me is the Manaltiu area of the Puttalam district. As you can see, these floodings have affected the daily lives, local businesses of this area. People in this area say that the water, it will take about more than a week for the water levels to go down. With Chaturudeshan, I am Senitha Senanayake reporting.
Now jumping into some local news now, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa pledged to work to uplift the homegrown art and artists during the course of his term. He made this commitment addressing a gathering at the President's official residence in Colombo.
The get-together was held to express gratitude to artists who worked to ensure the victory of the President at the recently concluded presidential election. The President said that he intends to provide artists with the best possible facilities. The President said that the previous government did not make proper use of the Run Minithanna Cinema village and abandoned it, further requesting that the artists take the necessary steps to take advantage of the facilities offered there. The President further said that when allocating jobs in various institutions, jobs will be provided to artists based on their abilities.
Former President Maithripala Sirisena was in attendance yesterday to watch U-Turn, a movie by Capital Maharajas Entertainment Private Limited. Former President Sirisena watched the screening of the movie in Colombo together with family and friends. He then expressed the following views. I watched the movie and it really caught my attention. It is a good movie with good direction. They have worked very hard. It is a movie that everyone can watch. As a film, it is very good. State Minister Susil Premajayanta and Lakshman Yapa Abhaywardena addressed a media briefing held at the State Ministry of Information and Communication Technology.
Journalists questioned the State Minister on the state of investigation surrounding the alleged abduction of an employee of the Swiss Embassy. With regard to the official of the Swiss Embassy, the investigations are going forward as per due process according to the law of this country. Citizens of this country will be subject to our law. Because of that, there is no issue on a diplomatic level here. We are not going to confuse the two. The evidence as per the testimony given is weak. He reported the information that he was presented with. We must not talk too much about a matter that is before a court of law. What I can say for now is that what he presented was facts that he had been told upon query. Things like the legality of this and the truth to it, we can present it at the conclusion of the investigation. We must not go into this more than required, so we damage our diplomatic relations. As a country, we must protect our diplomacy. Views were also expressed about the United Nations Human Rights Council session to be held in Geneva next March. We have already made plans. The Foreign Ministry, together with other related institutions and the Attorney General's Department, is to make preparations based on what is necessary with regard to the sessions. We know when handling foreign affairs, it is the foreign minister that handles the state's matters. Even though the matter of whether the permission was taken matters to us, if the foreign minister has agreed to something, it is considered an agreement. But we clearly know that the new government has a mandate. We must work according to that mandate.
Discussions means, what do you mean by discussions?
Sri Lanka government is going to make a request to the UNHCR to postpone the session.
There is no such a move at the moment. There is no such a decision taken by the government or the Minister of Foreign Affairs. So at the moment we are getting ready for the sessions due in February, and it will continue till mid-March next year.
Are you going to propose any amendments to the?
No, we are considering, because you know at the moment the entire situation is changed now, because in a way it's a paradigm shift. So it's new government. So we have to explain the position of the new government to the international community.
Fitch Ratings has revised its outlook on Sri Lanka Telecom and the Ceylon Electricity Board to negative from stable.
According to Fitch Ratings, this was as a result of its outlook revision on Sri Lanka's long-term credit rating to negative from stable, as both entities are strongly linked to the state. Fitch has revised the outlook on Ceylon Electricity Board's national long-term rating to negative from stable. Fitch expects CEB's operating profits to remain weak in the medium term, especially in the absence of tariff increases and rising generation costs. The regulator expects electricity demand to increase by about 6% a year in the next 5 years, which will require significant capacity expansion if the industry is to make up for the existing supply shortage. It added CEB requires investments of $1.7 billion until 2022.
Former North Central Province Councillor of the JVP, Wasantha Samarasinghe, expressed the following views.
They point out that Sri Lanka's debt crisis resulted in the country's Fitch rating to be revised into negative. Tax cuts costed the country 23% of expected tax revenue, and this was one of the major factors that contributed to this rating. In the situation where the government revenue is not sufficient to pay the country's installment and interest, losing 20% of the expected tax revenue increases the borrowing requirement of the nation. That means in 2020, if we are due to pay a total of 2,000 billion of the loan installment and the interest, the expected government revenue is at 1,850 billion. That means we are short of 150 billion. Against such a backdrop, we are losing 22% of the 1,850 billion. We are saying no to 480 billion. This is favorable when it comes to the economy, as concessions need to be provided to the general public. These tax concessions should be felt by the economy in maybe a month or two. But the problem now is that before the people have felt the effects of the tax concessions, as a nation in terms of economical stability, our rating has been revised to negative. As a country, when we are obtaining loans, we have a major problem at hand. Because of this rating, these organizations are hesitant to lend us money. As a result of that, we will have to obtain essential loans. Instead of taking low-interest loans, we are now left with the option of borrowing money at higher interests. This will result in us increasing our loan interest by borrowing more and thereby increasing our interest rate, and that will result us in losing the tax concessions.
Emeritus Professor W.D. Lakshman has been appointed as the new governor of the central bank today.
Professor W.D. Lakshman took over from Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy, who stepped down from his position as the 15th governor of the central bank. Deshamanya Veligamage Don Lakshman was the former vice-chancellor of the University of Colombo from 1994 to 1999. He is one of the foremost and eminent economists in the country who has contributed to various areas such as academics and administrative aspects. He was appointed as the vice-chancellor of the University of Colombo and held this office with distinction up to the end of March 1999. He last chaired a committee to probe and report on the Singapore-Sri Lanka Free Trade Agreement through appointment by then-President Maithripala Sirisena. He also headed a presidential commission on taxation in 2010 and was the chairman of the Colombo-based Institute of Policy Studies.
Now to give you more news from the day, we are joined by Arundhati back at Studio R at Dawson Street. Arundhati?
Thank you, David. Moving on with other local stories, the Minister of Higher Education, Bandula Gunwardena, met with the Ambassador of the Republic of Korea to Sri Lanka, Lee Hyun, at the ministry today.
The meeting was focused on obtaining financial assistance to develop the higher education and technical education in the country. According to the minister, around $104 million are to be invested on maritime universities and technical training centers in the country.
We are ready to work with your country, so I want this meeting to be a great momentum for both the Sri Lankan side and Korean side.
Headline inflation decreased to 4.1% in November 2019 from 5.6% in October 2019. Accordingly, year-on-year food inflation decreased substantially to 4% in November from 7.3% in October. Non-food inflation declined marginally to 4.2% in November 2019 from 4.3% in October 2019. The core inflation, which reflects the underlying inflation in the economy, decreased to 5.5% in November 2019 from 5.6% in October 2019 on year-on-year basis. Meanwhile, Supreme Court Judge, President's Counsel Prasanna Jayawardena passed away earlier today while receiving treatment at a private hospital in Colombo earlier today.
At the time of his demise, President's Counsel Prasanna Jayawardena was 63 years of age. He was a former student of Royal College in Colombo. He was also Vice President of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka. President's Counsel Jayawardena was a member of the special three-member committee appointed by then-President Maithripala Sirisena to investigate the controversial central bank bond issuance.
The Urban Citizens Organisation convened a media briefing in Colombo this morning. They expressed their discontent surrounding the current system in place with regard to parking in Colombo.
1996 කොළඹ මහනගර සභාවත් පෞද්ගලික ආයතනයකුත් ගිවිසුම් ගත වුණා. කොළඹ නගර සභාව තුල රථවාහන ගාල් කිරීමට
In 1996, the Colombo Municipal Council came to an agreement with a private entity to place parking meters in Colombo. The agreement states that by 2016, there will be 160 parking ticket machines across Colombo. They have only put up 100 machines. As per the conditions in the contract, if these stipulations are not fulfilled, the private company must pay a fee of 30,000 rupees per day, but that has not happened. The money collected as fines and penalties until now, including that from the 1st to 31st of December, must be paid to the council by the 15th of January. They owe us 48%. That hasn't happened until now. If the agreement is violated, the council must be paid an additional 2%. There have been no steps taken to charge the amount either. Both the Special Commissioner K. Anura and former Mayor have acted as they please and have not collected money that were owed to the council from 2016 and have given the benefit to the company.
වන්දි නගර සභාවට ගෙවිය යුතු සර්චාර්ජ් පෙනල්ටි සහ මේ මුදල් අය කර ගැනීම දිගින් දිගටම කල් දදා මේ අයට සහන සපයලා තියෙනවා.
මේක ඉන්ස්ටෝල් කරලා මාසයක් යනතුරු අපි දන්නේ නැහැ මේක කොහොමද අපි පේ කරන්නේ කියලා. මගේ කාර් එක මම
We didn't know how this works until a month after it was installed. We didn't know how to pay. When I park my car outside, someone comes and places a parking ticket, and we disregard it and throw it away without paying much attention to it. After 2 weeks, we get a red notice asking that a sum of 35,000 rupees be paid. When we call the numbers mentioned in the ticket, they tell us they don't have an answer to give. We must walk about a mile to go and pay the parking fee. This is inconvenient. Because of this, they must introduce a system to make our lives easier.
ඒ ඔක්කොම අපහසුයි. ඒක නිසා අපිට මේකට හරියන කිසියම් ක්‍රියාදාමයක් ඇති කරන්න ඕනේ මිනිස්සුන්ට පහසුවෙන් මේ දේ කළ හැකි.
Well, that is a wrap of primetime news from our end here at the Echelon Center, where the Christmas zone is in fact still up and running. Now, just we noted that today is the last day. So if you have not enjoyed what we have set up here, bring your family and your loved ones over here to Echelon Square to enjoy the Christmas zone that we have set up.
I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka, wrapping up from the News First team, and we wish all our viewers a very Merry Christmas. Good night.